Back in my day, the arcade was a noisy, dimly lit temple of digital dreams. Forget subscriptions or free-to-play, the price of entry was a small, shiny quarter, and the cost of mastery was your entire week's allowance. These weren't games you finished. They were games you survived. Getting a high score meant earning bragging rights that lasted until the next school day. We are counting down the 7 greatest, most ruthless, and most beloved arcade games that mercilessly ate every last quarter we had. Number 1, the game that broke your wallet. Defender? Long before complex space shooters dominated consoles, there was Defender, 1981. This game didn't just move fast. It moved in both directions and required an intense command of 5 separate buttons and a joystick just to survive. You were a lone astronaut defending a planetary landscape from alien abductors or landers who tried to steal your humanoids. Lose all your humanoids, and the planet explodes into killer mutants. The sheer speed and sensory overload made it a quarter killer of the highest order. It was a stressful, demanding masterpiece that required superhuman hand-eye coordination just to last 1 minute. Number why Pac-Man's secret glitch. While Pac-Man 1980 looks simple today, it was a masterful blend of strategy, memorization, and pure panic. The game's success was simple. Navigate a maze, eat all the dots, and avoid 4 iconic ghosts: Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. But the true quarter eater came when players realized that the ghost patterns became predictable until you hit the infamous split screen or kill screen at level 256. The game's programming broke down, making the final half of the screen an unplayable mess of symbols. Players poured hundreds of quarters into the machine, not to beat the game, which was impossible, but simply to reach that final fascinating failure. Number way, the joystick killer. Mortal Kombat's brutality. When Mortal Kombat 1992 hit arcades, it changed everything. Unlike its cartoonish competitors, this fighting game offered digitized actors and most famously fatalities. The game was designed to eat quarters by being intentionally difficult and punishing. Learning the special moves was hard enough, but pulling off the hidden finishing moves was an obsession. The joystick abuse players dished out while trying to execute the multi-step, complex brutality moves was legendary, often damaging the machine itself. Players would line up just to watch someone try and usually fail to pull off Scorpion's toasty. Fatality before the dreaded countdown timer took their life. Number Y, the best driving game ever. Pole Position in the early 1980s. Pole Position, 1982, offered a driving experience that felt incredibly real, even with its simple graphics. It was the first game to use a full-color, pseudo-3D perspective and introduce the concept of the qualifying lap. This requirement was a genius quarter eater. You had to complete a fast qualifying lap before you could even start the main race. That meant if you crashed or went too slow, which you did often, you had to feed the machine another quarter just for the chance to qualify again. The pressure to qualify was immense, often leading to spectacular, instant crashes that sent you fumbling for change. Number A, the Pinball Wizard's Nightmare. Twilight Zone Pinball deserves a spot on this list, and no table was more demanding than Twilight Zone 1993. This wasn't just a silver ball and flippers. It was a complex narrative machine with multiple ball locks, ramps, and a terrifying power field, a mini play field with magnets. The goal was to collect all 10 doors to enter the wizard mode, and it was ruthless. If you were truly dedicated, you might spend $20 or $30 trying to complete a single game. The combination of its deep rule set and the constant risk of the drain made it a machine that demanded repeated, focused investment. Hash 2 Donkey Kong before he was Mario or Jumpman, he was the guy trying to save a damsel from a giant ape named Donkey Kong 1981. This game was a masterpiece of platforming and timing. It was not the most complex game on this list, but it was one of the most unfair. The constant stream of barrels, the fire barrels at the bottom, and the tricky spring levels required absolute perfection. The moment you missed a jump or mistimed a hammer swing, you were dead. And the temptation to drop another quarter and immediately seek redemption was overwhelming. It was a simple, brutal loop that trained a generation in platform gaming. Number A, the game that made you a fighter, Street Fighter II. Our number one quarter eater is, without a doubt, Street Fighter II, 1991. This game revolutionized the fighting genre and created a universal language of quarter-circle motions and fierce competition. The cabinet was constantly surrounded by players waiting to drop their quarter on the edge of the machine to claim next. You weren't just fighting the CPU. You were fighting the guy next to you, each loss costing 25 cents and your pride. The skill gap was huge, forcing novices to continually invest money just to learn the difference between a Hadouken and a Hurricane Kick. It bred fierce competition and cemented the arcade as a social battleground. If you could go back to the 1980s for just 1 hour with a pocket full of quarters, which machine would you run to first? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give a thumbs up, share, and subscribe.